What's going on, Degenerates? It's us back again with some UDL coach interviews. I am Toby, joined by the wonderful, darling co-host that I have called Raz Raspberry.
I'm Raz. What's up?
And we are joined here today for another Arcanine Division coach interview. We have Ollie on the stands. How you doing, Ollie?
Very good. How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing great. So, Ollie, we just wanted to bring you on, ask a couple questions for you. We want to get in your head. We want to know what you're thinking of, what your thought processes are for this draft season. And hopefully we can get most of those answers today for your adoring public fans.
It's me.
So, it's us. It's all of us. Y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, firstly, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about your draft process, like what you wanted to go for originally, how that changed, if any snipes came up or anything like that. Basically, what did you want to go for versus what do you have now?
I pretty much got everything I wanted. I didn't really know what to do with the auction draft, so I got bit in the butt a little bit with the BULU. I was just kind of being a jerk bidding, and I ended up getting stuck with that. So that was a piece that I didn't really care for, but I really wanted the PZ. I was trying to go for a more offensive-minded team this season. So
yeah,
PZ, Whimsicott. Whimsicott was my last pick. I was surprised it was still up on the board. So I got those two together, and that was kind of the core of what I wanted this team to be.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So if you could also give us a little bit of info about your team, like what it does, what you're excited to try with it, basically for the uninitiated, what makes this team function? How does this work?
So, I mean, a lot of it's probably going to be me and the PZ, Whimsicott, Tailwind, Fake Tears, that kind of thing. I do have an Arcanine, which is kind of a home pick for me. I have a tattoo of an Arcanine, so I always had an Arcanine or Rapidash on the team. I'm kind of excited to see. I've tried it before in the VGC ladder with beat up Justified, Arcanine, and Whimsicott.
Yeah.
So it might be something fun to try. And then also the Torn T. I got beat by Rolo with it in the first time I did UDL, so I'm excited to see what I can do with that.
Heck yeah. Torn T is nothing to fuck with. I can tell you that for sure. And I do genuinely like the Porygon Z Whimsicott mode. And honestly, even with Tapu Bulu, it doesn't like stick out. Like I'm sure you can make it fit and do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
All the
Speaking of Bulu Whimsicott, though, so as somebody who just drafted Tapu Bulu in this league as well, I found that it's more successful under Tailwind, which is great because you have a fantastic Tailwind setter. Are you considering trading Bulu away since it has the same typing as your Tailwind setter, which kind of opens you up to some not great defensive situations?
I'm not opposed to trading it away. I probably wouldn't bring... Because I have another Tailwind setter in the Torn T, too. I've got Tailwind in that, and then Icy Wind in that. I think that if I were to bring the Bulu, I probably wouldn't bring the Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have... They have the same weaknesses, sure, but I think they do different things, so it'd be a little bit different to kind of bring them. So I kind of play those matches a little bit differently. So we'll see if I end up trading it away. I'm not keen on it. It's not a close to my heart or anything like that, but we'll see how the season goes.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And I know it's been touched on a little bit in some of the PRs that have come up, but what I've seen that has been observed with your team primarily is that it's very Porygon Z heavy. Like, you're going to want Porygon Z all the time, every time. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I brought the Arcanine for, because people can expect the Porygon Z, but if I bring Whimsicott, Arcanine, beat up Justified, max it, I think that would be a pretty not typical scenario that people might think of.
Yeah, makes sense. Arcanine, in my opinion, Arcanine kind of generally struggles offensively, but if you get the beat up Justified buffs onto it, especially if you max it, I mean, Porygon Z who at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like Arcanine on the team because it does so many different things.
Oh yeah.
just like in general, and especially here where you have a lot of pieces to enable it in that sense.
For sure. It's a really good support piece. And can shine offensively if it needs to with that beat up.
Yeah.
And then other thing I noticed was obviously the mascot pick. You got to respect the mascot pick.
Yeah.
And Gothitelle. Tell me a little bit about Gothitelle.
Gothitelle is more of a tricky piece. So I play VGC and a lot of that pretty frequently. So I've been watching a lot of tournaments on that, and just like fake out ally switch hypnosis, helping hand is kind of what I'm going for.
Okay.
And then if I do get in a tricky situation where I could lead like Porygon Z, Gothitelle, they can't switch out, helping hand, max strike it. I think that'll be pretty useful too. That way I don't always have to bring the Whimsicott, but don't always expect me to bring a Whimsicott counter.
Right. That makes sense to me, for sure. I mean, I think that basically answers all the questions I have for the team itself. It looks really solid, in my opinion. I think it's supported well. It's really well balanced. Just you might be heavy on the Porygon Z, but like you said, you've got a pretty good way to surprise people with that Arcanine sometimes.
Yeah.
So, looking at the roster, I don't know how familiar you are with everybody in the Arcanine division, but if there's any teams that you've been looking at or any coaches that you've been keeping an eye on, are there any of them in the division that you are particularly looking forward to fighting this season, or anybody you're particularly dreading to fight this season?
No, I haven't really looked too much into who all is in this division in this season. I'm still currently playing in the GLDL, so I'm focused on that. Currently in right now trying to see if I can make it to playoffs. So I've been really focused on that. I know Rolo's in there. He been pretty good. This is only my third draft, Pokemon draft. And Rolo, first time I played him in the EBA, beat me pretty good. So, and then he beat me again in the UDL, so I want to play him, see if I can kind of rematch him, win that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, I know Wakeman's in there, beat him my first time in the VBA, kind of a shock to me because his team was pretty good. If I can repeat. And those are pretty much the only two that I play. I don't know if I played you, Toby, in the UDL.
I don't recall us playing, at least, but I didn't record much of UDL, so I couldn't tell you for sure because I was having major recording issues with UDL. But I don't. Maybe we skipped over each other in our division UDL. I don't know.
Were you the one that had the Gallade?
No. I had the Pincurchin, Alolan Raichu mode.
Pincurchin, yeah.
Oh, I think I did. I played you with my Rapidash.
Okay, yeah. All right. Anybody particularly that you're dreading?
No one that I can think of. I'm sure if I look at the list, there's probably a lot that I could be like, okay, I don't want to play them. But
Right.
Off the top of my head, no.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So recently, a whole bunch of people have been they've been talking about PRs. There are a whole bunch of power ranking videos up, floating around, and in terms of like generally where you were ranked, do you agree with those assessments? And are there any trades that immediately come to your mind that you would make to move up, or are you satisfied with what you have and you think that they're kind of sleeping on you a little bit?
Yeah, because I believe you were ranked 10th in Wakeman's PRs, so how do you feel about that placement? Is that accurate, or?
I saw I was ranked 10, and then I saw that I was ranked 8, I think in Dan's PR.
In Dan's, yeah.
It is what it is. I like my team. I think I am Porygon Z focused, but I think Porygon Z can do a lot of damage regardless if you know it's coming or not.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, it's up to you if you can match it, if you can beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. PRs don't really mean anything to me. I think I was pretty low in the PRs for the UDL the first time, and I was third or fourth in the division before playoffs. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. I just like to prove them wrong.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you are literally in the underdog draft league. Being ranked low and placing on top, that's kind of the name of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Speaking of making playoffs last season, like obviously very early, really hard to tell. But just in terms of like how comfortable you feel with your team and like opponents and everything, do you think you have a solid shot at playoffs this season again?
I feel really comfortable with my team. I played in the early ladders of VGC. I was pretty comfortable with the Whimsicott Porygon Z. I was able to get Master Ball. Highest of that team was like 1,000. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable and familiar with what that team can do. And then behind it, I think that I can play well, and I think I can make playoffs. That's just my goal. Make playoffs, and then whatever happens to that happens. Just make it to the big dance.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, I can respect it for sure. Let's see here. I also would like to get your opinion on something. So obviously, you are an auction division coach this season. And you've obviously seen the craziness going on with auction. The 5-point Goltress, the 85-point Grimmsnarl. So I'd like to know, what is your opinion on auction as like a draft format?
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was fun. It got parts where it was boring. Like, Pokemon you didn't want, like Goltress going for 5 points. Other people didn't, kind of like whatever. I felt like you were less likely to get sniped in this, which I thought was fun.
That's true.
So, I mean, it has its pros and cons. I enjoyed it. I could see how some people could say that you could upbid, kind of like I did with the BULU, and get bit. But, I mean, that's the name of the game. I do fantasy football, and you've done auction drafts with that, and that's kind of, you upbid until you kind of get them where you want them, and then drop out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's just a different kind of thing than the standard snake draft.
Yeah.
Sure.
Totally.
I can see its appeal. And you're also right. It kind of seems like everybody at the very least got something of which they wanted. Hell, even Ed with his evolution team. I mean, he wanted it, so.
And now he has it.
And he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to the next question. If you were to talk to somebody who was wanting to make auction draft a more popular or more used format in, say, maybe higher level draft leagues or higher level tournaments, what would you tell that person?
I would say I think it's more fun when because you have to be more involved in the chat, and I think it's fun to talk to everyone and get to know them and just kind of poke fun at each other. Like I was slow poke. And I think that's just fun. I think it creates a more safe environment, more friendly environment compared to the snake draft, where you can get in the group, you can get in the voice chat and talk to everyone, but it's just not the same to me. Instead of like poking fun at everyone else, I think the camaraderie of it.
Sure, that makes sense. I mean, I can agree. There was a lot more of a social aspect. Like I can agree from my perspective with the auction draft, there was a lot more talking and poking fun and spamming in the chat and stuff like that. Whereas you don't really get that with snake draft sometimes. Sometimes it's just like. I guess the thing about snake draft is it can go slow and you can go pick by pick sometimes and people can comment on it, but a lot of the times you'll see like 10 or 15 mons draft at once. So like one that you think is really cool that some people would comment on, nobody thinks about because, the last one is in their face now, so that's the one they want to talk about.
Right.
Whereas like auction goes mon by mon, and it becomes a talking piece of like, he spent how many points on what? He spent 85 points on a Grimmsnarl. Why would he do that? He must really need it. Stuff like that. So I like this. I like the social aspect for sure. Um. Well, actually, I think we got through those questions pretty efficiently. Anything else, Raz?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, the viewers, all your big number one fans, in terms of like YouTube, Twitch, do you make content? And if you do, where can people find you?
I don't make any content. I'm pretty busy and I don't have the setup for a camera.
Fair. Yeah.
So that's a no on that question. Sorry.
All right.
Oh,
Fair enough.
you're good.
No, that's fine. We just like to give the opportunity to, plug your stuff if you have any. But if you don't, then it's just, hey, watch out for this guy
Yeah.
in other people's videos and watch him either crush or get crushed. Hopefully watch him crush for the record. But
Yeah.
I'm not preying on your downfall, Ollie. I promise.
It's quite the opposite, in fact. I want
And-
Ollie
and-
place number one.
In fact, I would actually like to see an Ollie playoffs qualification. So,
Going back to one of the questions of who you don't want to play, Raz, I'm glad you're not in our division because you creamed me pretty hard in the UDL last season with your GARBODOR.
Rude. Dude, that was one of the greatest sets I've ever played. That's a sleeper pick, Mon. Oh man, what a set.
I mean, all right.
I'm putting
whatever.
that video in the description.
Oh, okay. We're putting the GARBODOR match in the description. All right. Then I guess that's pretty much everything we wanted to run through today. So I guess we'll end it off there. I want to say thank you, Ollie, for coming on and answering some questions with us. We super appreciate getting some insight into coaches' heads, seeing what their plans are for the season, stuff like that. It's been fun so far. We're glad you came on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we are interviewing you again come playoffs, and we can talk about your success story. I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. Then I think that's going to do it for us, folks. We are the Draft Degenerates. I'm Toby. That's Raz. But you knew that already. And we will be coming at you once again with another interview at some point. We don't really know when at this point. We have to get more scheduled because this was the last one. So we will catch you when we catch you. And hopefully you enjoyed it. All right. Thanks, guys. Raz, outro.
See you later, gamers.